It's safe to say that bikes have changed significantly in the last 10 years. And here I am, riding my original road cycling roads for the first time in 10 years. And I cannot help but think of how much better my modern bike is versus bikes of that era. So in this video, I want to talk about the parts of my modern bike that I think are making this experience so much better. So before I dive into my points, I think it's worth clarifying what I am comparing older bikes and newer bikes to. I'm currently riding in the Taupo region. It's notorious for coarse chip seal, bumpy surface, just really grippy riding up and down all day. And the bikes I was riding when I last rode here were your very typical bikes of the mid to late 2000s. Now in comparison, today I'm riding my Specialized Tarmac SL7, and that bike obviously incorporates a lot of the modern features, aerodynamics, integrated cabling, disc brakes, and while those things are awesome, they're actually not the things of the bike that I'm going to talk about today, and why they're not the things that make the bike so much better to ride here than the bikes I used to ride with. So that's a comparison. Let's ride on. I've got 3 areas of the bike that I want to talk about to show you why bikes have improved so much in the last number of years. All right, area number 1 that I want to talk about today is the gearing. Now to give you the comparison, of course, bikes I was riding when I last rode Taupo and training here were standard group sets. My first bike came with a 5339 up front and a whopping 1123 on the back. Now, a few bikes post the very first one, I ran an impressive 1125, but compared to modern bikes, I'm currently here on a semi-compact group set, 52, 36 and 1130 on the rear. So this climb here, which I've done so many times in the past, this was an hour of the saddle. So to do this sitting down, the torque was insane. So you can just start to tell the energy levels required just to get up something like this. I've been able to stay seated the whole time, spin the legs nicely. Does that make me a slower cyclist? No. So much less fatigue to get up a climb like this, trying to keep the cadence up. Now I talk about this one first because it's not the newest change we've had in bikes. Realistically, I've had the adaptations moving to this type of group set for the last 10 years. So it's been a very slow change and we've got better every time. And of course the most modern versions of group sets, something like SRAM are making, have gone even bigger again. So it's certainly not the most apparent change on my bike versus bikes of yesteryear. But it's worth pointing out at just how apparent it is coming to rides like this when the last time I did train on them was on a standard group set. So it's for the first time probably faced me the most how much difference this change to new bikes has made. So area number 2 of my modern bike that I want to talk about today is tyres and tyre pressure. For the comparison again, the bikes that I first rode Taupo on, 23C tyres, pumped up to a whopping 100 PSI at a minimum. Bring that forward to today, and for the last few years I have ridden nothing smaller than a 28C tyre at, even with tubes in, 70 and 75 PSI. The difference is astounding, and it is certainly apparent on roads like this just how much difference those tyres make. Now 23C tyres are certainly a thing of the past, and even while I was living in Taupo I did move to a 25C tyre, which is normal at the time, but I certainly didn't change pressures as well. Pressures is obviously something that's really come about in the last few years as a real talking point in cyclists. And even still to this day, I still have conversations with roadies who are still running really high pressures. You've got to stop that, people. Run them low. Look at all the pressure calculators. Doesn't matter if you're not running tubeless. I'm still running tubes here, down to 70 psi. Makes a world of difference. And I'm truly astonished today riding these roads. This was a place that used to beat me up big time on the body. And these tires and these pressures, they make a major difference. So that's area number 2, and probably the biggest one of the 3. But let's ride on and talk about the last one. And area number 3, I may have misled you a little bit on this one, because at the start of the video I said that disc brakes were not the thing that attributed to the experience of riding these roads after 10 years on my modern bike, but they certainly have allowed for it. I truly believe that frame design has come a long way after the introduction of disc brakes on road bikes, and it's got very little to do with stopping. This is probably a video all by itself, but frame design, by eliminating the need to put a rim brake on the top of the fork and the top of the seat stays, all of the material and strengthening that has to happen to allow that has really opened up the doors for frame designs that can be more compliant and just more fun to ride. Take for example putting the stiffness in the axle instead of at the top of the fork, allowing for the bike to be more responsive and to corner better at speed, and the ability to take material away from the top of the seat stay to allow for better compliance. And it really does allow the bike to be comfortable where it needs to be and stiff and responsive in the other areas that it needs to be as well. It truly has made for a more complete ride, as well as, linking back to my previous point, allowing for more tire clearance. Forget 28C, talk 32, 34 on most bikes now, if you really want to talk about comfort from tires. And let's not forget that wheel design as well has also benefited from moving the braking system of the bike. Even in the example of the Roval Rapide wheels that I am riding today, they made big claims about the compliance of those wheels, the comfort, the pothole protection. All of this is possible because you don't have to put a brake track on the rim. And I ride these wheels all the time now because I'm not going to wear them out by braking on them. And I'd never have bought wheels like this if I was on rim brakes. So riding the nicest components that I can put my hands on more often, it just makes my riding more fun. And that's what it's about. Bikes are meant to be fun. Let's talk about weight and speed another time. So hey, look, thanks disc brakes for making my bike more fun more of the time. So we are the 3 areas where I believe a modern bicycle has significantly improved versus the bikes of yesteryear, and I really cannot emphasize how much better this bike is to ride on these old local roads of mine. Everything just seems a little bit easier, if that would make sense. Just more fun, more comfortable. I'm really having a blast out here. So the only question left to ask is, what do you think? Have I nailed it? Have I got it right? Let me know in the comments. And hey, please, let me know what you're comparing it to. What are you riding? What were you riding? What's better? What's worse? What's no different? Let me know below. Looking forward to having some nice, peaceful adult conversations down there about all the things we're talking about. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, just give it a thumbs up. Give us a like. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, we talk lots about things like this. Lots of things. It's my personal opinion most of the time. And hopefully it resonates with some of you. Hopefully it can help you think about a new bike, or maybe think about lowering your tire pressures. Would love to know if it's been helpful at all. So see you in the chat below. And of course, keep it simple, everyone. Keep that riding simple. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers.